Steve Evans, first of all, I hear they might be a new face starting tomorrow at Mansfield.
Yes, we've got their academy star, if you like, one of the real good players in the academy, McKees Evans, 16 years old, and he's in consideration to start tomorrow. He's been on loan out at Potter's Bar, who have done a really good job educating him to men's football. We've watched his progress there with interest. In between that, what people wouldn't know, we've had a number of academy players up with us over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. And it's important that we keep our eyes on them and seeing who's improving, impressing. and McKees is one of 3 or 4 that's been jumping up and down by his performances and attitude. So he goes on merit, and he'll may start. If he doesn't start, he'll be on the bench, and he takes the place of a senior player. So I'm not doing it lightly. I'm doing it absolutely convinced that he's got a very bright future, and he might even have a very bright present.
And what time's come into the squad? I mean, off the back of 2 home wins and a really big game at Mansfield.
Well, I had the absolute privilege of speaking to his mum today when he got dropped off here at the training centre, and that family have been absolutely very humble. They're very dignified, both his parents and Leon and myself have been speaking to them, so they're absolutely immensely proud of McKees, and so they should be. And as I've spoken to him this morning in a meeting with Rains and Revs, and just said to him, this is the start of his journey. This ain't the journey. This is the start of it. How hard it is to get a place in an academy these days. Then to go from an academy to a professional contract is a big thing. He's too young for that. He's 16, so but there's no age barrier, top or bottom end. If you're good enough, you're involved. And his performances, I've got him on the team coach to Mansfield later today.
And we can see the character of this team. It's going to be a welcoming for McKees, but also they're going to raise his game and he potentially raise others.
For the last 3 or 4 weeks, Alfie, I loved him. You know, we always have little days where we have a bit of banter and we let the players pick a team for training games and stuff like that. He's never last pick. He's normally in the squad because he scores a goal. He's got good feet. He's a strong boy, and I'm not making him out to be the next Wayne Rooney. We're not saying that at all. But what we're saying, he's a young, really good prospect amongst 3 or 4 at the academy. If we'd been in a less fighting position for such a big prize, we'd probably have more of them around us. But we're fighting for a prize, so they have to be getting considered above what we'd say first team players. McKees' performances have earned him that right.
4 games to go. We know what we need to do, and it starts tomorrow. Do you have a target of points in mind, or is it just game by game? 3
points tomorrow. That's the target. If not 3-1. Utmost respect for Mansfield Town Football Club. The supporters, I'm sure, give me stick like they've always done so that when I've gone back, but they know how much I love the football club and how much I cared. In fact, they never realise how often I'm speaking to Johnny Callan Radford, which is very often, so they'll be lifetime friends. Very humble towards the manager. He's a really good manager, Nigel. I think he's proven it over the years. He's done a sterling job, and they've got a number of players that we were perhaps tried to get here. We did try to get here, but they blew us away. But that happens in football. But it'll be tough tomorrow, but we're very much looking forward to it. Mansfield Town have a big support behind them. We'll take a good support. It's got the hallmarks of a top League 2 game.
You've seen the last couple of games of players, or in terms of actually the season, the players have been running themselves into the ground right until the very end. That's going to be the case and more.
We're incredibly fit. We're incredibly fit. I mean, our fitness levels and our stats tell you that we're running as hard in the 95th minute as the 5th minute. And that's not just fitness. There's got to be such a desire to win a football match or get something from a football match. And I've always said, if you're losing, run hard and get a draw. If you're drawing, run hard and get a win. And it doesn't always plan out, but we're incredibly fit as a group. And I'm sure that if it goes to advantage any side tomorrow, their fitness will win that advantage. But it won't just be about that. There's 22 good players, really good players, going to be starting tomorrow.
How was the squad generally? There were some tired legs after Tuesday night. Are you doing the season rotations?
Yeah, but we were tired after the first game of the season. Players should be tired after a game, eh? If you're not tired, what's the opposite? You've got lots of energy after a game. shouldn't have lots of energy. But the wonderful thing in the reference back to fitness is it's about recovery. You can be tired. It's about recovery. And you only need to look at some of the world's best athletes, since like to Mo Farah speak. And he speaks about, when he goes and puts in a sterling performance, he's on his knees. Next day he shakes off that stiffness and he's flying again. So that's no difference to us. They come in, the day off, they come in yesterday. We had a good bright session. We're back on the grass today. We're training here before we travel because it's not a million miles. And so we've got absolute top-class facilities here, as you know. And we've had hydrotherapy pools, we've had everything. So they're in a good place, really good place.
And even if the result doesn't go our way tomorrow, it will still be in our hands, and there's still enough time to.
If it don't go away tomorrow, we go to Swindon. People say to me, like you've just said, like other members of the media, and a couple of things yesterday for Sky Television about 4 games. What 4 games? We've got 1 game, Mansfield Town. When we leave Mansfield, we'll learn, because we learn whether we win, lose or draw. We'll learn from that game, and we'll get ready for Swindon, who beat Bradford midweek. So what a performance that was. I watched a rerun of part of that yesterday. I watched a full rerun Sunday. And then we come out of that, we've got Grimsby at home, and Husty is a friend of mine. We speak very often. So from that point of view, it's 1 game at a time. It's Mansfield tomorrow. It's 3 o'clock. It's the Stags versus us, and we're looking forward to it. But we're not going to wish our legs away. We've got to train properly today, keep a focus on what we're trying to achieve. And the one thing is, I know that I've got a lot of heroes on that coach with me. We're not the heroes as manager and staff. The heroes are the boys that go into battle. And the boys that go into battle have been victorious enough to give us an opportunity to go to Mansfield Town. Still fighting for promotion. Because don't forget, it's up on my board, on the 27th of June, we were 60-61 outsiders by a mile to win automatic promotion, and the shortest price favourites for relegation in the history of betting in League 2. So somebody has to tell me that we're not the surprise package in the whole of the EFL. We are, but only if we deliver against the odds.
And just finally, some other heroes to mention, the supporters got us over the line on Tuesday night, and they're going to be so important in the next few weeks.
The last 2 games have been absolutely phenomenal. I think I said to you on particularly last Saturday, mid second half, from nowhere, everyone in the ground was singing and getting right behind the lads, and that gave our boys re-energised us. And we had the same on Tuesday night, where, listen, I think if it's a boxing match on Tuesday night, after 15 minutes, the 3 white tails are in, not just one. And but 1-0 was always a precarious scoreline. I think if we'd have got a second, it could have been where we wanted it to be in terms of a few more goals. But when you're 1-0 down, there's always nervy moments. Nervy moments for us against Doncaster is when they come over the halfway line, because they very seldom did. But it only takes a second to score a goal. And that made us a little bit nervous, but the fans were brilliant. So we'll take a good support tomorrow. And we hope that through our efforts and endeavours and abilities, we can give them a good day. But we have total respect for the opposition.
And just for yourself, you were feeling a bit under the weather on Tuesday night. How are you feeling now?
I'm good now. I'm ready to go. It was something that was in the camp over the weekend. We had 3 or 4 lads who were really struggling on Tuesday before the game, but they all in my office and all individually. I said to them, I'm quite happy to get you a big coat, watch a game, or get yourself home, and they all wanted to play. The good thing is obviously it was at the back end of the lot of virus we had, because when we gave them Wednesday to freshen up all off, they all bounced in yesterday, and the lads who were under the weather were all fine and no more had any symptoms. So we're good to go. No, it's no excuses now. There's 1 game to go Saturday and then 3 more.
It's great. Thank you, Jeff.